We'll meet on our backs. If you've got blocks may be helpful. If you don't have them, they're not necessary. They just add a little bit of support, which is especially nice when we're doing something a little more gentle. So laying on our backs, you can have your blocks right now underneath your knees on whatever setting. Maybe it's the first setting, maybe it's the second. And again, if you don't have blocks, maybe just bend the legs, let the knees rest against one another. Once you're here, you can close out the eyes. If you're already tired, maybe you don't close out the eyes. Maybe you just set your gaze. Keep them open to keep everything a little more active. Just feel the pressure of your mat. Feeling the weight of your body. Letting go of any areas of tension. Actively breathe into those areas. Let them release. Let them relax. Lengthening the inhales. Lengthening the exhales. Unclenching the jaw. Now for our opening breath, we're going to do, I'll call them full torso breaths. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through the nose and try to expand as much as we can, working from the chest first. The chest rises, the rib cage expands. Visualize the diaphragm expanding, pulling the lungs more open. Maybe the belly expands a little bit here as well, all the way down to your pelvic floor, letting everything expand open, the hips as well. And then on the exhale, starting with the pelvic floor, squeeze everything in. Squeeze through the hips, the stomach. Visualize the diaphragm lifting up, pushing the lungs smaller. The rib cage closes in, the chest closes in at the very bottom of that exhale. And again, inhale, chest rises, rib cage expands. Visualize the diaphragm expanding. Belly might expand a little bit. Hips expand. Pelvic floor expands. Reverse. Squeeze everything in, starting with the pelvic floor, the hips, the core, the diaphragm, the rib cage, the chest, bottom of the exhale. Again, inhale. Expanding from the top all the way down to the pelvic floor, making as much space in the torso for pulling as much air to the lungs as possible. Exhale, starting with the pelvic floor. Squeeze everything in. Work our way up, all the way to the chest. Bottom of the exhale. Humor around, inhale. Stay where you are, keep breathing there. Exhale. Fully pushing the air out. Again, inhale. Start with the chest, let it rise. Rib cage expands. Visualize the diaphragm expanding. Maybe the belly expands a little. Hips expand. Pelvic floor expands. Exhale, starting with the pelvic floor. Squeeze everything in. The hips, which obviously won't move much. We're just visualizing here in the belly, the diaphragm, the rib cage, the chest. One more round. Inhale. Expanding from the chest all the way to the pelvic floor. Exhale, squeezing from the pelvic floor all the way to your chest. Return to regular breaths here. Maybe implementing our Ujjayi breath. So that slight restriction in the back of the throat. Helping to regulate our breath. We're also strengthening our diaphragm by making it work harder to pull air in and push air out. Just focusing on your breath for a few more rounds. Again, keep your eyes open if you're getting a little too relaxed. We want to keep this somewhat active and engaged in the mind. From here, if you've got the blocks under your knees, bend up your knees, reach to each side, and set them off to the side. Bend through your right leg, keeping the left leg extended, and then bring that right knee into the chest. You can grab onto the shin with both hands and pull it in, maybe really hugging. Your leg will come off to the side a little bit, but still try to pull it in towards the midline as much as possible. And when you're here, take big belly breaths. So we're breathing the air into our belly expands, exhale, our belly lowers. So big belly breaths here. Massaging into the ascending colon. You can tuck the chin if that feels better on your neck while laying here. Keep breathing into the belly. Hug the leg in a little bit more, maybe play around with different positions, see what feels really good. So just slight subtle movements here. Take a couple ankle rolls on this side. Slowly release the hands. Bring the sole of the foot back down. Bend through the left leg and then extend through the right. Bring this knee in towards the chest. Hug it in. Same thing, other side. Squeeze it in. See if it feels good having it a little bit wider and then hugging it into the midline. Or maybe hugging it in first into the midline and then squeezing it in closer towards your chest. Big belly breaths here again. Massaging into the descending colon. Starting to take little ankle rolls on this side. Reverse the direction. Slowly lower the sole of that foot down. Bend through the right leg. And bring one knee into the chest at a time. And you can lift up the shoulders, reach the arms, and we're going to be hugging both knees into the chest here. When you hug the knees in, if your lower back lifts up a lot, maybe you don't hug as tight. We're going to lower the shoulders back down. And then try to get every vertebrae flat on the mat. So you can tuck your chin starting from your neck all the way down to your lower back. If they don't all come in contact, that's fine. We're just working towards that end goal. Try to keep every vertebrae in contact. Then hug the knees in tight towards the chest, as tight as it is comfortable. If you feel a pinching in your hip flexors, then just release how much you're squeezing a little bit. Take big belly breaths here again. Massaging into the transverse colon here. You can take those more expansive breaths here as well. You breathe in, let everything expand right down to your pelvic floor. Exhale, squeeze everything in. Inhale, expand from the chest all the way down to the pelvic floor. Exhale, squeeze everything in, starting with the pelvic floor all the way up towards the chest. One more round. Exhale. Slowly release the arms. Slowly release the feet. Maybe one foot comes down first, and then the other. Keep the right leg bent straight and through the left leg. And we're going to reach the right foot up towards the ceiling. Maybe this is enough for you. This is enough of a stretch. Maybe your leg is bent. That's fine, wherever you are. If you can lift through the shoulders and reach for this leg when you're grabbing down below the knee or above the knee. Lower the shoulders back. Just getting a little hamstring, back body stretch here. Well, back leg stretch. Try flexing through the foot, pointing through the foot. Flexing, pointing. You flex harder, well, you don't even have to flex that hard, but you should notice when we flex, it really intensifies the stretch along the back side of this leg. Point. Flex. Point. Flex. Keep doing that. Moving slowly. See if you can get your knee a little bit straighter. You can even push the leg into the hand as the hand pulls back on the leg. That opposing force there. Stop with the opposing force. Flex through the foot one more time. Hold it, hold it, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep this leg up. You can just relax it a little bit. Bend through the left leg and just shift onto the outside of that left hip and then re-straighten that leg. And we're just going to let this leg fold over. So again, if your leg is bent, that's fine. Maybe just the toe touches. We're trying to keep both shoulder blades in contact with the mat so that the twist is more through the thoracic spine. So maybe you bring the foot a little bit closer in to get the shoulders in contact, and then you play around with extending that right leg a little bit. Arms can be cactus, in a T, however feels good. And then using your core, bring this leg back through center. Lower the toes down, just so you can shift, squaring up the hips. Pick the foot back up. Now you can do it if you've got a strap. Sorry, I didn't indicate to grab a strap, but if you want a strap, it can feel really nice for this one. The other option is to bend through your leg and with your 2 piece fingers, grabbing your big toe. So option 1. Option 2, without the strap, pretend the strap's not here. And what we're going to do is, if you're holding the strap, just lower your leg out to the side. Same thing if you've got the big toes. It just requires a lot of openness. So maybe your leg is bent if you don't have a strap and you're using the toes. Maybe your leg's bent even if you're using the strap. Just let the hip open up to the side. You can have the leg a little bit higher. Maybe it's a little more coming straight out. Play around with it. Just move slow. Hold in it. Next, inhale, engage the core, the hips, the glute as you pull the leg back through the center. The eye strap, release it. Lower that sole of the foot down. Just going to move my blocks because I know they're going to get in my way. And then bend through the left leg, extend through the right. Pick up the left leg, we're doing the other side. So I guess if you got your strap now, you can even use your strap for this stretch. If this one's really tight, you can hold with that. Maybe you lift up the shoulders, grab somewhere behind this left leg, lower the shoulder blades down. Let's flex and point. Flex and point. Flex so you feel more stretch through the back of the leg. Point so that you feel a stretch along the top of the foot, the front of the ankle, through into the shin here, the tibialis anterior. Flex and point. Work at with your own breath here. We're always striving to connect our breath with our movement. So inhale to flex, exhale to point. So finish with the foot in a pointed position, and then pull with the hands as you push with the leg, that opposing force. See if you can get the leg a little bit straighter. And then release that tension, flex through the foot one more time, holding here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow, oh no, we're not done with this leg, I said. Bend through the right leg, shift onto the outside of the right hip. Straighten that leg as you lower the top leg, the left leg off to the side. So again, the leg may be bent, maybe the toe just touches down. We're really striving to keep this left shoulder in contact with the mat. Bring the arms however they feel comfortable for you. And trying to keep both shoulders in contact. Maybe you play around with this leg, maybe straighten it. Again, even just a millimeter more, micro movements. Engage your core, pull everything back to center. Use your left toes to square up the hips, and then straighten this leg again. So with left peace fingers, maybe a bent leg if the hamstring flexibility is not there, or with the strap. You're just letting this left leg come out to the side. Again, maybe you bring it so that you're making more of a 90-degree angle, or maybe pulling the foot up higher. Just playing if you like, or finding stillness if you like. Stay right where you are. right, hopefully your legs still up to the side. Using your core, pulling it back in. Bending through this leg. Let's bend through both legs. Bring the knees in towards the chest. We're just going to roll a little bit here. Roll up. Maybe you didn't get all the way up. And that's fine. You can try again. Do a gentle roll down. So you can straighten the legs a little bit. Use a little bit of momentum here. Roll up. Use your hands if you need to. We're not going anywhere. We're just gently rolling. Come back to laying on your back. Knees are still hugging towards your chest a little bit, and cross the ankles if they were. We're just going to come into little eagle legs here. So crossing the right leg on top. Cross as low down like towards the hips as possible through the thighs. Try to cross the knees. If this is as much as you cross and you stay here, then that's beautiful. But if you can wrap the ankle, the right foot behind the left ankle, and grab, get that little bind there with the toes. The knees can be really bent here. It's kind of hard to straighten the legs when we're doing this variation. You can pull the knees towards the chest. Just hold it here. I'm just going to show you because I really like this one. You don't have to do it because I wasn't really going to do any like core work for this morning class, but if you feel like a little bit of core work, then cross the arms. Let's cross with the right arm there. I need my furnace to turn off. It was too loud. Cross with the right arm over top. And again, cross and twist as much as you can. If this is as much as you cross with your arms, just like the legs, and so be it. Maybe you can get the palms a little bit in contact. So the core work here is that little eagle crunches. So you extend away and pull the knees and the elbows in towards. Extend away as much as is comfortable, keeping the lower back in contact with the mat. Crunch in. Crunch. Crunch. Release through the arms. So again, you don't have to do that. I just wanted to show you because I really like the weight of everything crossed. I find really helps engage to the core, and I really feel it. So that's a really good one if you want to try it, or if you did try it. Wherever you are, unravel the legs and then switch. So your left leg is going to be on top. Cross and twist at the thighs as much as possible first. So maybe even get more of like a wider split here. Cross, cross, cross. Cross the knees. Maybe that you stop here, or maybe you can wrap the foot around the ankle. You can hug the knees a little bit more into your chest if you want to play around with the little crunches. Left arm on top this time. So right arm is closer to my face. Is the left arm. Cross and twist as much as possible. So same thing here. You can take these little crunches, expand out, crunch, expand, crunch, expand, crunch. Slowly unravel the arms, slowly unravel the legs, and we're going to take these little rolls again. Just gentle. Maybe you don't get up the first time. You can hold on to the shins as well. Come through. Keep doing that. Rock a couple more times. Last rock. Come to seated. And from here, we are going to just cross through the ankles and work our way into a tabletop position. So hands and knees. We're going to work through now some rolling childs to cobra, or just like a half upward facing dog. I'm still weak in my body, so I'm not going to worry about like full upward facing dogs. So I don't think you should either, but if you are really feeling it, if you like it, then by all means. But we're just going to pull the hips back, child's pose, and then pull forward so that we're on our forearms. Pull all the way through so that we come into this gentle cobra or partial upward facing dog. Push through the hands Tuck the tailbone down as we lift the hips back to child's. Pull through on the forearms, pull the chest through, gentle. Play around with it if it feels funky on your knees. Then maybe when you pull through, maybe your feet lift up a little bit. I find that can feel nice on the knees. Sometimes if I keep my legs straight, it pinches my knee skin. So just recognize that little things happen like that in your practice. You can find ways to work around it, or maybe not. Keep pulling through. Come back to child's pose and see if we can reverse it. So come through to more of a tabletop. Lower down. So the hips, the belly are on the floor. We're in this gentle cobra. And then push back onto the forearms, back into child's. Come up through tabletop, shift forward, lower the hips and everything down. Push back onto the forearms, hips pull straight back. Again, tabletop, lower down to cobra, shift back to the forearms, child's, table, lower, shift back, child's. Let's do the other direction again. Forearms, through to cobra, push to tabletop, child's. And now reverse it. Tabletop, cobra, forearms, child's. Reverse again. Forearms, cobra, tabletop. Child's, reverse for tabletop, cobra, forearms, child's. Hang out here in child's resting pose for one moment, really pulling the hands forward. Reach, 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 reach. Maintaining that reach, we're going to walk both hands off to the right side. Pull the right hip back so you get a nice right side body stretch. Walk the hands back through center. Reach, reach, reach here. Exhale, walk the hands off to the right. Pull the left hip back. So you're getting a nice left side body stretch. Come back through center. We're just going to come through to tabletop and work our way onto our bellies. Just gently. Take a little drink if you need to here, actually. And then come onto your belly. From here, we're going to bring, so tops of the feet are in contact with the mat. You can tuck your tailbone down. And we're just going to, using your toe, however you need to, get it so you can get your left knee up towards your left elbow. So you can have your foot closer in. You can stay on your belly for now. I'm just lifting up so I can talk. You can have your foot closer to the body, or you can flex through the foot and bring it more into a frog positioning. Maybe even wider. So just find somewhere that's comfortable for you, for your hip, for your knee. And then from there you can come into a bit of a sphinx. So we're in a half frog pose here. Keep tucking the tailbone down. You can even lift the hips a little bit, tuck, tuck, tuck the tailbone, and then lower, really feeling your pubic bone pressing down into the mat, or at least reaching more over the mat. If you can get up high enough in Sphinx, looking straight ahead, and then maybe pushing your head back against an imaginary wall. So we're not looking back, keeping the chin in the same place and then pushing the head back against an imaginary wall. should just feel the muscles in between your shoulder blades engage there. At the same time, think of pulling your chest through. So you're squeezing your elbows back as you pull your chest through. Push your head back. And you can stay right here with the leg, or you can straighten it and come into a half middle split. Keep tucking the tailbone down. If you're in this half middle split, push down through your foot. You're not going to really lift anywhere, but just push, just so you bring some engagement there. And release. Keep the tailbone tucked. Push down through the foot again. And release. Tuck the tailbone, keep it tucked, push down through the foot. And just a subtle sensation here. We're not looking for anything too wild or crazy. And release. Bend through. You can lower down if that feels better on your lower back. Rebend through the left leg. And bring it back to straight. I've got my fists stacked and my chin on my fist right now. And all I'm going to do here is tucking my tailbone down. Actually, no, don't worry too much about tucking the tailbone for this one, because we're going to do little leg lifts. Just with the hip bone staying in contact with the mat, the left hip bone staying in contact, we're just going to lift this left leg. Just slowly lift, hold, lower, slowly. Lift, hold, lower, slowly. Lift, hold, lower. Keep going. Again, try to connect your body and your breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So you should definitely feel the left glute, the left hamstring, maybe even into the left calf working here. This is still relatively calm, slow. Lift it up one more time and hold it. Left hip is in contact with the mat. Hold it. Hold it. Try to lift it higher, keeping the hip in contact. Hold it. Hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Reach out with your toes. Your leg goes a little bit straighter. 2, 1. Slowly lower it down. You can bring the chin off of the fist, and then we're just bringing the right knee closer to the right elbow. So again, play around with the toes closer towards the body or flexing through the foot and making it more frog-shaped. Maybe even bringing it into a wider frog. Do what feels good for your hip, your knee, your ankle. You can stay where you are, or you can come up onto the forearms into more of a sphinx. If you're here, lift the hips a little bit. I like to squeeze through my left quad so it doesn't dig into my knee too much. So squeeze through the left quad, lift the hips, tuck the tailbone, try to bring the pubic bone closer down towards the mat. Looking straight ahead in your sphinx. You're pulling through the elbows, pulling the elbows back so the chest pulls forward and through. And then push the back of the head against that imaginary wall. If you did so on the other side, or if it feels good on this side, you can straighten through the right leg. or a bit of a half split. If you find your knees digging into the ground a little bit, that's where pushing into the foot can kind of alleviate some of that. So kind of get into a position that feels good and then push into the foot a little bit so that it's not as uncomfortable on the knee. Keep tucking the tailbone. And then push a little bit more through that foot. And relax it a little bit. Keep your pelvic tilt, pulling the tailbone down towards the left heel, and push into the right foot. Release slightly, push down again. Push into the foot again, and relax. You can lower down off the forearms, bend through this leg. Bring it down next to the other leg. Stack the fists. Do whatever feels good for your upper body. Tops of the feet are in contact with the mat. Keeping the left leg as relaxed as possible. We're going to engage to the right leg. Reach the right toes back, and then we're going to lift up here. Right hip bone stays in contact with the mat. Lift, hold, lower, slowly. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. Continuing on with this. Hopefully you're feeling some burning here by now. If you're not, go a little bit slower and lift a little bit higher. Squeeze. Keep pushing both hip bones down and towards the mat. Let's go for 3. Lower. 2. Lower. 1. Lift and hold it, hold it, hold it. Reach the toes back behind you and then lift up even higher. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. Bring your hands to either side of the chest. Push through the hands, shift the hips back, coming to a tabletop here. We're going to do some puppy and puppy pose variations. So walk your left fingers out to the left off of your mat, and then reach your right hand with your thumb facing up towards the opposite corner. From here, we're trying to lower our shoulder down closer. So maybe come down onto this left forearm, maybe rest the head on the forearm. You need to walk the knees in a little bit. Just find somewhere where it's comfortable to hold it. You can really push into the ground with the knife edge of this right hand. It just creates a little bit of a different sensation. Inhale, really push into the knife edge of the right hand. Exhale, let your chest melt even a millimeter deeper. Inhale, push into the hand. Maybe you come out of the stretch a little bit. Exhale, release. Inhale, push. Exhale, release. Push into the left arm as you slide the right arm back in. Square everything up. And then move the right hand off to the right side, off of the mat. Left arm reaches forward. Reach, reach, reach on the knife edge. Thumb is pointing up. Lower down onto that forearm, elbow. Let the shoulder melt down. Maybe come down onto the right forearm. Rest the head down if it feels good. Once you feel comfortable working with your breath again, so inhale. Push into the knife edge of this hand, bringing some activation into this. Exhale, release even a millimeter deeper. Inhale, push. Exhale, melt down. Inhale, push, maybe coming out of the pose a little bit. Exhale, release. Inhale, push. Exhale, release. Keep working with your own breath. A few more rounds. Push down into the right arm as you slide this left hand back square. Pick up tabletop. We're just going to work our way into puppy. So we're just reaching hands forward. If your shoulders are really tight, and maybe this is what your puppy looks like. But we're trying to melt our chest, our armpits, maybe even our chin down towards the mat. And same thing here, you can work with your breath. Inhale, push into the hands, get some activation here so that we've got both stability and mobility. We want a good balance of both. We don't want to be too stable or too strong, nor do we want to be too mobile or too flexible. So inhale, push into the hands, find some strength and activation. Exhale, melt a little bit deeper. Inhale, push. Exhale, melt down. Keep working with your own breath. Take one more inhale where you push. Exhale where you release and hold it at the bottom here. Breathe slow. Push through the front hands. Find that stability, that activation. Walking back. Readjust the knees if you need to. We're going to thread the needle here. So bring the weight into the left hand. Pick up the right hand. Reach it up. Twisting here. And then sliding the right hand underneath the left. Coming all the way through. Maybe you adjust the left hand. Pull a little bit with it. Shift the hips. Kind of find a point where it feels really good. And you can stay right here. If you want a little bit deeper into this, extend the left arm overhead. And then tiptoe the fingers back behind you. Just so you're opening up through that left shoulder more, looking out past the left armpit. Try to square up the hips a little bit. If you reach that left hand back behind you, slowly bringing it back so the wrist is under the elbow. Push into the left hand. Slowly unravel. Bring the weight into the right hand. Left hand reaches up. Thread the left hand through. Go ahead and thread. I'm just checking time here. Thread it through. You did so on the other side and want to do so on this side. Extend the right arm and then walk the fingers back behind you so you open up more through the shoulders, looking out past the right armpit. Try to square up the hips as much as possible. Unclench the jaw. Just relax here. Slide the right hand back if you had moved it. Push into the right hand. Slowly unravel. We're just going to do some scapular push-ups here. So we're trying to keep our core and our pelvis out of the mix. So we're trying to avoid that movement. Keeping the arms straight, hugging the triceps in. So what that means when hugging the triceps in is the eye of the elbow. When we hug them in, it's going to point forward, same direction as the fingers. So hug the triceps in. If you want to test it, if you bend your arms, the elbows will point right behind you. If your elbows point out to the side, you got to hug in more. So hug in, hug in, hug in. And then, again, just try to keep the movement between the shoulder blades. Push the mat away from you, really doming through the upper back, protracting through the scapula. And then melting the heart down, retracting the scapula, squeezing them towards one another. Elbows remain straight. Push and dome. Push, push, push as much as you can. You should feel stretch along the upper back. Let that heart pull through. Protract. Retract. Moving slowly. Inhale, protract. Exhale, retract. I want to switch that breathing. So inhale here. Exhale. Protract. Inhale. Retract. Exhale. Rounding. Round, round, round. Inhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, round. Inhale, retract. 2 more rounds. Inhale, round. Sorry, exhale, round. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, round. Inhale, squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Come back to neutral. And just sitting back on your heels, shifting your feet off to the side. We're going to come into this tree foot half straddle. Flex through this foot, flex so hard that your heel lifts up off of the mat. And then relax it. Reach the right arm down, this right leg, you can be down on the forearm. Pull the left shoulder back to start, and then reach the left arm overhead. Reach, 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 getting that nice side body stretch. Next inhale, coming all the way up, sitting up tall. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe here. Next inhale, coming up. Grab a block and put it in front of you if you got one. We're going to plant the left hand down on the outside of this bent leg. And then we're going to shift our weight up. So we're just coming to the top of that left shin, reaching the arm up. You can make it really exaggerated and dramatic here. Let the head fall back. On the next inhale, using your core to pull yourself up. You can readjust on your mat. Get your this foot
more straight back behind you. That's what I'm trying to say. From here, let's bring our hands down. And we're working again kind of with a half middle split, just in a slightly different, more elevated position. So you can walk this foot out. If you've got your block, I'm on the third height here. You can set it under the thigh as you extend that leg out. If it's just too much fuss, don't fuss around too much. If you can get it there comfortably, again, it just provides a little bit of support. Maybe you come down onto the forearms or you stay on the hands, just hanging out here. If you need to adjust this knee, then do so safely. I find walking my back toes in a little bit makes it more comfortable for my knee, but that's just me, so maybe you need to do something else. Notice the belly. If the belly's really collapsing towards the mat, suck your belly button in towards your spine. Just try to keep as neutral a spine as possible. If you're on the forearms, coming up onto the hands first, inching that extended leg out, maybe readjusting the left knee a little more under your hip, move the block in front of you. Let's come up first, inhale, exhale, lower this left hand down. I'm gonna move my block even more since we're here. Let's pick up the left knee and extend that leg in front of us, taking even more of a fallen triangle here. Look down at your left hand. I'm bending through this right leg, so I can pull the left leg back through, come back onto the knee. I'm shifting the shin so that I can sit back into this tree pose straddle. Just see how we're doing for time. We're folding. And switch sides. Get set up here. Flex through the left leg so hard that the heel lifts up off the mat. Your quad should really be engaged. Tibialis anterior, the front of that shin. We're going to inhale to sit up a little bit taller. Exhale, fold over. Sorry, you can lower that heel back onto the mat first. Inhale, sit taller. Exhale, fold over to the side, reach here first, and then pull this right shoulder back, look past the shoulder, and then maybe reach the right arm. Inhale to come up. Sit up tall. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to come up. Plant the right hand down here now. And then we're going to lift the hips. I'm going to shift on my mat because I want to keep my knee on the mat. So if you need to adjust, then by all means, lift up. And then inhale, coming up. Oh wait, we didn't extend. Lower down. You can reach here a little bit. Just enjoy this. And then inhale. Coming all the way up using your core. You've got your block. Grab it. Working on that kind of half split again. So coming down onto the hands. You can inch this leg out or inch this leg out. Set up the block. If it's not too much fuss, if you can get it somewhere comfortable. And just reaching. Maybe you stay up like this. Maybe you lower down onto the forearms. Again, if it's really uncomfortable on this bent knee, see if bringing the foot in closer towards the bum helps. Suck the belly button in towards the spine just a little bit, just so we're not collapsing. Inhale, come up onto the palms if you were on the forearms. Work your way to shorten your stance a little bit to get the block out of the way. Inhale up. Exhale. Plant the right hand down. Push into this left foot and into the hand so that you can pick up the knee and slide the knife edge of that foot through. Fall in triangle. Left arm can reach up and overhead. Make it exaggerated. Bend through the left leg to drag the right leg back. Set the knee down. Shift the shin so that when you sit down, we're back in this starting position. We're going to do each side one more time. Try to make it a little bit more flowy. Switch sides. So I'm sitting a little bit further back on my mat, so I don't need to adjust as much. I mean, just kind of work with it. Have a block somewhere nearby. Inhale, sitting up tall. Exhale, reaching over. Looking past the left armpit. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, folding forward. Rib cage leads first. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, plant the palm. Inhale, lift up. Let that top arm sweep back behind you. Exhale here. Next inhale, coming all the way up. Readjust on this back leg. Bringing the palms down. Actually, let's not use the block this time. Too much fuss. Reach that leg out, maybe lower onto the forearms. Half middle split just for a moment. Inhale. Squeeze everything in. Coming up. Exhale. Lower the left palm. Inhale. Put the weight into this foot and that left palm. Slide the left leg through. Exhale. Pulling this leg back. Sitting down. Back to our starting position. Switch sides. Inhale. Sitting up tall. Exhale. Reaching off to the side. Looking out past the right armpit. Next, inhale, come up. Sit up tall, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, plant the palm. Inhale, shift up, reach that left arm overhead. Exhale here. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, extend out for a middle split. Lower to the forearms if you please. Holding here for a moment, breathing. Next, inhale. Come up back onto the palms. Hug everything in. All the way up. Exhale, flat down through the right hand. Put the weight into this left foot, right hand. Inhaling that leg through. Fall in triangle. Inhale, pull everything back. Exhale, sitting down onto the bum. We're going to take two kind of final poses from our knees. Yeah. So we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to do half camel here. So knees are hip distance apart. You can tuck through the toes. That'll make it less intense because you won't have as far to reach. Or you can be on the tops of the toes, and just bearing in mind you'll have to reach back a little bit further. Now, when we're in this, we're trying to focus on tucking the tailbone and keeping the hips over the knees. So if you reach back and you find your hips coming back, push them forward. So bring your hands to your lower back to start. Tuck the tailbone, push the hips forward. Take the left hand, reach back for the left ankle. Lift through the chest, keep pushing your hips forward. So again, if you're really collapsing in like this, Open up, open up, open up. You can stay right here, or you can sweep this right arm overhead, bringing the gaze wherever feels good. Sweep the arm back first, tuck the chin, gently come up. Get reset. Hands to the lower back, push the hips forward, pull the chest through, and then reach back with the right hand for the right ankle. Push the hips forward, lift the chest up. Maybe you extend, sweep through, extend that left arm. Set your gaze where it feels good. Sweep the arm back, bring your chin in towards your chest. Bring your hand to your lower back, other hand to your lower back. Come all the way up. Let's do each side. One more time. Tuck the tailbone, push the hips forward, lift the chest up, reach back with the left hand to left heel. You can stay right here, keep the chin tucked. If you want more intensity, sweep the arm back, and more intensity still, let the head go. Inhale, sweep the arm forward, tuck the chin, bring your right arm to lower back, left arm to lower back, slowly come up. Keep your hands here, tuck the tailbone, push the hips forward, lift the sternum up, reach back with the right arm, right hand to right heel. You can stay right here, keep chin tucked, or extend the arm and maybe let the chin go. Sweep the arm forward, tuck the chin, left hand to lower back, right hand to lower back. Inhaling here, exhaling, sitting back. We're going to take a quad stretch here. I was going to do a more upright one, but I think we're going to do a reclined one. So we're going to take half fixed turn, half hero's pose. We'll just call it hero's pose. Legs are straight out in front of you. You're going to bend through your left leg. Try to bring the foot as close to the hip as possible. If this is dreadfully uncomfortable, play around with the distance, and if it's just too much on your knee, like maybe you have a block here that you can put under your knee, or maybe you just forego it and yeah, you can just do a comfortable supine position of your choice. This one's usually okay for people. It's usually when you're doing full fixed firm hero's pose with both legs bent, so I'm sure everyone's fine. From here, we're pushing our knee down. We've got our knees as close together to touch as possible. We're going to be pushing this knee down into the mat while also reaching it towards the top of the mat. So if you feel enough of a stretch here, then you can stay right here. Maybe you can start reclining back, keep pushing the knee down and forward. Coming back all the way until you feel a really good stretch. If you can come back further, try to get a little bit of a posterior tilt, and that'll really help with the stretch. So maybe you're able to go down to your shoulders, but if you post your pelvic tilt, pull the knee down and forward, you should feel a stretch in the quad anyways. You can keep the chin tucked. If you want a little bit more, you can let it go. Just hanging out wherever you are. Hold here for another couple rounds of breath. If you're down on the forearms, gently pushing your way all the way up. Roll onto the outside of the right hip so you can straighten through this left leg. Both legs are straight. You kind of walk them out a little bit here. Notice any differences. And then bend through the right leg. Coming to the top of the right foot, getting that foot as close to the hip as possible. pressing that knee down, pulling it forward. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. Or maybe you start working your way back. Again, you might be fully capable of going back onto like laying all the way back. But even if you just do more of a posterior tilt here, make sure you're pushing that right knee down into towards the mat and reaching towards the top of the mat. You should feel a nice stretch here. If you find you're really slumping through the shoulders here, you can just pull the chest through. Option to let the head go if you did on the other side, even just for a little bit. See how it feels. If you're on the forearms, slowly push yourself up, roll onto the outside of the left hip, pull this leg through, maybe wiggle them out a little bit. And we're just going to come to lay on our backs. I like to give the option to take any pose here, any supine pose that really calls for you, maybe supine butterfly, a twist, figure four, if your hips are really yearning for it. Or if you want to stick with me, then we're going to come into happy baby and do just a couple little fun, playful things in happy baby. So bring both knees in towards your chest. We're trying to get every vertebrae in contact with the mat. So tuck the chin a little bit in towards your chest. So from your neck all the way down to your lower back. Your back is flat and in contact with the mat. From here, pick up the feet. Let's grab from the insides. Splay the knees out. Pull down with the hands. Feeling a nice stretch to the legs here. Now bringing your right heel towards your bum a little bit more. Extending through the left leg. Maybe your leg doesn't go totally straight, that's fine. And we're just kind of rolling over to the side and see if you can tap your left toes down onto the ground. Bring the left heel in towards your butt. Extend through the right leg. Roll off to the side a little bit. See if you can tap. Just gentle. Go back and forth, side to side. Switching the legs. Tap, or as close as you can. Pull it in. Tap. Pull it in. You can keep doing that. That's kind of the more gentle variation. If you want to just go a little bit further with it, extend through one leg. And now instead of rolling, we're trying to keep our back as flat onto the mat as possible. See if you can tap the toes or how close you can get. So you might roll a little bit, but we're just not making an exaggerated a roll. So whereas before we were really rolling off to the side, here we're trying to keep flat, straighten the legs, see if you can tap the toes. Or just see how close you can get. So keep switching out the legs. So whatever option you're doing, stick with it. If you want even more still, come into more of this happy baby. Then extend one leg. Try to keep the back flat. See if you can tap the toes or how close they come. Happy baby. Extend the other side. See if you can tap the toes. Come back up. One more time each side, wherever you're doing. Maybe you're still doing the rolling variation with the extended leg not fully extending. Happy baby, meet in the middle. Squeeze everything in towards the middle, just to bring some activation back into those adductors. It's a big stretch for them, so maybe you just even do a couple reps here. Again, we want that stability mixed in with the mobility. I'm just doing these little leg squeezes. Another good adductor, since we're here, another good adductor exercise is coming into a supine straddle, pulling the legs in. I like to do a cross, cross, release, cross, cross, release, cross, cross. Do about 20 of these, it really starts to burn. We don't have to do them right now. Again, I'm just kind of showing you. All right, setting up for your final Shavasana. If you've still got your blocks and you had them at the beginning, we can finish class as we started. Have the blocks. I'm using the second height under your knees. Of course, if you don't have blocks, you can just bend up the legs, bringing the feet the width of the mat, let the knees rest against one another. Bring the arms wherever feels good for you, maybe down by your side, palms facing up, maybe out to a T, cactus arms, or behind your head. If you got a sweater or blanket nearby, maybe you grab it. I'm going to put on socks because my feet get cold. It's just relaxing everything down. It's already 7:14, so if you got to get going, then by all means, if you can stay with me, then stay with me. Just take a short little rest here. Inhaling, filling the lungs. Exhale, relax the body, heavy down into the mat. Inhale, expand. Get a little light in the body, maybe you levitate a little bit. Again, we're just visualizing this. And then exhale, slowly lower back down into the mat. So heavy that you create a bit of a dent in your mat, like you're laying on a soft mattress. Again, inhale. Let your body get light, it elevates. Exhale. Slowly sinks down, heavy. Inhale. Getting so light you lift off the mat a little bit. Exhale, slowly sink back down into your mat, into the floor. Checking in, seeing how the body feels, how the mind feels. Noticing if any thoughts creep into your mind. Just noticing them. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. If you've got the mat, the blocks, you can just use your legs to move them off to the side. Extend your legs, your arms up overhead, taking a big morning stretch. Using your arms, your legs, roll over down to your side, fetal position just for a moment, coming all the way up to a comfortable seated position of your choice. You can close out the eyes or look down at your mat 2 or 3 feet in front of you. Wherever you are, rest the wrists on the knees, palms facing up, point your fingers and thumbs, gently touch, taking our 3 final breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth audibly. Inhale. Last one, inhale. Take in even more air. Exhale. Push out even more air. Return to your regular breath, hands come straight to heart center. Thank you for taking this time for yourself. Thank you for joining me. In closing, we say, Namaste. If there are any questions, comments, or concerns, as usual, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a glorious, productive day.